Pay-per-view fights. Is Callum Johnson against Anthony Yarde pay-per-view? Yes.
Is Joshua really that good? What is an elite win?
Everybody's going to say, Porky, you was right. So, alright.
Wake up, jumped out my bed. I'm in a two-man fight with my homie Lil Half Dead. Murder was the case that they gave me. Dear God, I wonder, can you save me? I'm only 18, so I'm a young buck. It's alright if I don't scrap, I'm getting stuck. But that's the life of a G, I guess. Essays way deep, shank on the chest. Best to run, cause brothers is dropping them quicker. Too late, date.
Hello all you hardcore boxing fans out there, how are you doing? Big Porky here, and still, yeah, you know, don't you? You know. Just leaving EIS here at Sheffield. Right, I'm going to do a video regarding the comments made in that interview I've just watched on IFL this morning. Eddie Hearn wants control of boxing, like Dana White's got control of the UFC. But the difference is between those two is the UFC has not been going as long as boxing. Boxing has been going on it for over 100 years, 100 and odd year, isn't it? So it's a little bit different to that, isn't it? And there's like Dana White's a promoter, isn't it? There's more than one promoter. There's more than Edward John Hearn, isn't there? So I think it'd be very hard for him to do that. I think it will probably be a good thing if we just have one person involved and we're calling it shots, but that'd be a monopoly, wouldn't it? So it'd have to be done right, wouldn't it? But what about everybody else who's a promoter? I mean, it's not going to be like they did with snooker when we got people on board, didn't they? WBSS, World Professional Billiards and Snooker Association. They got people who were willing to vote and all that and blah de blah. So it's now called World Snooker, isn't it? But back in the day, they couldn't budge the snooker people, but I can see them trying to take over though, like the snooker, like they've done with the darts. There's two organisations with darts. The Matchroom one's loads better than the other one, isn't it? It's a bit drab, isn't it? So, have they got a right to do that? No, I don't think they have, but they're number one, aren't they? Who are you pipping you? Oh, it's other lane. Piphead. But I think it'd be a monopoly, and I don't know, as long as all other promoters get sorted out. I mean, I personally, if they want to make changes in boxing, I'd like to see them get rid of British Boxing Board of Control. I'd like to see a new sanctioning body or governing body come on board, or get a load of new people involved. I don't want to see 70-odd-year-old men thinking they're on a free jolly up, driving about up and down country and flying around the world. I mean, for example, why do the WBC need an official at every show in England? Why is that? Well, I don't get that. I don't get that. It's just people with the noses in the trough. And like I said, I don't get that at all. But if Eddie Hearn were to do it and pull it off, it'd be massive, wouldn't it? But why should he run boxing? I don't know, but maybe we should have one person in charge of boxing and that person be in charge of like the board of control and all that, and we're just answering to one person then, like the football. We answer to the FA, don't we, with football, but the Premier League get involved as well, don't they? But I'd like to see it being one person, not the board of control. It's a tired old format. It's the same format that we were using when it was Jarvis Astaire, Mike Barrett and Mickey Duff, the cartel. And we know what happened there, don't we? Frank Warren took them on and seen them off, didn't he? So you've got to give Frank Warren credit, but I don't know. Would Frank Warren be willing to let Eddie Hearn be in charge of boxing? No. Would his sons? No. So I don't think it'll happen, but for Eddie to come out and say that, he's just trying to big himself up even bigger, isn't it? I mean, if he were a bar of chocolate, he'd eat himself, wouldn't he? I mean, what sort of man makes stories up about being an amateur star? 4-0, 3 by way of Eddie Hills. Well, Eddie Hills, I've got that for if you want to get at it with me. Let's get you sent down to Mick Wales' gym or Dennis's. Let's get at it, Eddie Hills. But the funniest laugh of the weekend was the Eddie Hills or Eddie Hearn under 19 Essex County Cricket Club fast bowler at Chelmsford. Thought that was a funny story. Eddie Hills, the Bob Willis of his era. Hey? Hey? But the sheer front of it, you've got to give him credit. He could sell bogies to a bogeyman. So, look at time here. I'm going to have to give it some on motorway in a minute. I'm going to have to turn into Big P on motorway. Look at this here. Never going to get done. But yeah, so I just think that boxing needs to take a leaf out of UFC's book and make the fights. I just had a chat with somebody today who helps me channel, and he said, look, if there's going to be fights on with kids that are not as good as other kids, they need to be fighting kids on the same level. Put fighters in with people on their level. For example, Dave Allen shouldn't be in with Hughie Fury because he'll get mullered. He should be in with Tom Little. I mean, what's up with that? Tom Little against Dave Allen is a good fight. It's a good fight in my opinion. So, speed cameras everywhere. I'll tell you another good fight. Gorman against the winner, Nathan Gorman against the winner of Tom Little and Dave Allen. Nathan Gorman can fight Cash Ali. Why not? Cash Ali, Nathan Gorman, Tom Little, Dave Allen. 2 good fights there. 2 good fights. But I know some people think they're better than they are. People think if they've got a big profile that they're entitled to certain amounts of money or they've not won a belt. So we're going to see, aren't we? But on the whole, I'd like to see some big changes in boxing. I'd like to see it very similar to UFC where everybody fights everybody. I don't want to see scripts written and narrated stories with fake beef, intense fake beef, or Tyson Fury, Joshua just so happened to be meeting up in Marbella. Look, everybody in boxing knows they've been texting each other for the last 2 years. 2 years! 2 years they've been texting each other. So they know where each other is. It's all pointing towards them fighting. Tyson will probably be just helping Joshua polish up his image after that Black Power speech or Black Lives Matter speech, whatever it were, where he dug his head in an hole. And Tyson's going to dig him out of it now because he's squeaky clean now, isn't he? He's Mr. Squeaky. Tyson's the Gary Lineker of boxing and AJ's the Tupac, isn't he, or whatever, do you know what I mean? So it is what it isn't. So shout out to Stacey at Bullseye. I've run out of magic trees. I'm having to put these cheapo ones on what they get at car wash. The crap. I want some proper ones, Stacey, so sort me a box out. I'll give you a mention on channel like I just have. Hope for a freebie. So I think that's about it really. Should boxing give Eddie Hearn the opportunity to take over? That's for you lads to answer on the channel, all you boxing fans. Personally, I'm all for somebody taking boxing by the nuts and dragging it into this decade. It needs something doing with it. because at the moment I'm starting to wonder where we're heading. I mean, there's hardly any shows lined up. Then there's not many fans. And another thing that bothers me is the fact that up to 50 now. Fighters are not fighting each other. Best fight that I can see coming up at the moment is Ted Cheeseman against Sam Eggington. And how many losses have they got between each other? About 10? They're getting on for 10 losses, aren't they now, them? So they're going to knock lumps out of each other for fans. So I think that's a good fight. So I'm going to give them credit, but rewind to 2012. You've got Froch against Boutte on a Saturday night, Sky Sports. So forward 8 year, we've got Ted Cheeseman against Sam Eggington headlining on a Saturday night, Sky Sports. So has the product in the last 8 year been watered down? What? You know it has. So I'm going to end on that note. Peace out. Shout out Innovation Alloys, South Yorkshire Packaging, UK Limited, Watchfinder, Coca-Cola. Who else is there? Lacoste, Robin Reed Multivits. Sure there might be one I've missed out. Fight Academy, JJ Crump and Sons. Still waiting for your phone call, Steve. Peace out.